All right, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the start of the Sega block, kicking it off with a couple Master System games, starting with this one right here, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. If you expected to see the Genesis game, I'm not sorry. Not in the slightest. So we're going to get underway. By the way, I am Finalflame over here, Infinite Mystery over here, Glitchwitch.
Hi.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so unfortunately, Sega has not come up with the spin dash yet, so you're not going to see that. We have to do what we just call roll jumping. That is the fastest form of movement in the game, and it causes some interesting things in some of the later levels, as you will see. So I hope you like Sonic jumping. I also hope you like loud, obnoxious noises. I'll do you a favor there. I just did a little glitch where I paused, and that kept the timer incrementing to get a smaller time bonus, so you get less of this. Everybody's favorite. But you're welcome, chat. I am speeding it up. I can let it go at a speed like this if you want to sit here all day. But I think the people after me probably want to get their runs done. Shout outs to also not starting off with green hills for a change, or any green level. It's kind of weird. So we are doing best ending. What this requires is getting the 6 Chaos Emeralds and then getting access to the final zone and defeating Robotnik. Surprise, who'd have thought that was coming. The Emeralds in this game are all out in the open for the most part. There's the first one, just gotta get up there, jump, and grab it. The Emeralds actually grant continues as well, so if you're collecting them, you have plenty of lives. You definitely don't need them in this game. Not at all. So I'm curious from the people behind me, who here has experience with the Game Gear version of this boss coming up?
Oh yeah.
I know there's a bunch of you. Bosses in particular are very different in the Master System version. You're getting ready to see why. The biggest differences between this... that stinks. Biggest difference between this and the Game Gear version is a screen crunch. If I was playing Game Gear right now, you'd be seeing almost nothing. You see Sonic, that's about it. But this boss is notorious for just being very difficult, a lot of randomness, a pain to get through. But we're here on Master System. So we're just gonna chill for a bit. You know, my response to that is to anyone that's seen the Game Gear version of this. And it's like, okay, you got a better chance at dying to the antlion than the lava. It's not really noticeable here, but the pattern is pseudo-random. It's based on the timer when you enter the boss. It's more noticeable on Game Gear, but it is actually a bit of randomness in this version as well. However, in Game Gear, you only have a variable, or you have variable bounce heights as well as, how often the balls come out. You can get 6, you can get 7. Master System, you actually can get 7 as well, but the bounce heights are all the same, so it's not as noticeable that there's any difference. So if you were playing this when you were younger and you beat Underground, congratulations, you get to deal with the hang glider. I'm fairly certain everyone behind me has experience in this game, struggled with the hang glider. I was talking to IM about this yesterday. I certainly never figured it out. So we'll see if I can show you how to properly use this hang glider. Alright, so that is... couldn't quite get to the end. That is a 2-frame window to make that jump. It saves about 2 seconds. Probably not worth it, but it looks really cool. Alright, I will take the hang glider this time. We don't want to be here all day. Actually, some of us probably do. Who wants to be here all day?
I do.
Okay. Regardless, I am on an estimate. Okay, you're not taking off.
Sorry, yo.
So the actual way of using the hang glider is just tap left. If you hold right, you're just gotta take a nosedive, and that's what I think everybody did. I certainly did it. I'm one of those in the Sonic game, hold right to win. It doesn't work out as often as you'd think it would.
Nor did the batteries on the Game Gear.
Yes. So Sky High 2, this is, in my opinion, the hardest emerald to get. So hopefully I get it first try. Need to make sure. Gotta do a light jump there and perfect. Bounce right into the emerald. I don't even know how to get that casually. I'm sure there's a way. And got that. Couldn't quite clip up there. If you do it just right, you can get a 13 time or occasionally even a 12. It's by far the quickest stage. There's no point in waiting around for time bonus. Or even on an actual run, you wouldn't want to wait because this is timed in in-game time. So I'm adding in-game time, doing that pause glitch on occasion. This is for you, chat. And also because the leaderboards are dumb. But, you know, that topic's another day. So, actually, a stupid boss coming up. I say that a lot. This is the bird. It can go smoothly. It can go horribly. We're just going to one-shot it. Phase 1, you get these little mini birds. And that was good. Alright, that's exactly how I want it. And perfect now for the main event. A couple different ways you can do this boss. In my opinion, this is the safest. Yeah, his beak doesn't actually hurt you if you jump into it. And that was a boss.
Didn't seem very aggressive.
That is honestly one of the harder ones casually. But, yeah. Who's speedrunning that? We're going fast. So that was Sky High Zone, Aqua Lake Zone coming up next. One thing I always like to bring up is it is the only zone to have any remix on OC Remix. So all the music people out there, you need to do more remixes of this game. There's some good ones out there, even off OC Remix. And yeah, we can bounce on water. So if I do this right, nice little ending coming up as we roll fast downhill. And boom. We're here at the end. If you do that, or if you don't do that and you go to the top right of the screen, you're just going to sit there and be at the end of the world and go, where's the signpost? What do I do? You have to go down there. Next level is one that feels a lot different between the versions of this game. In Master System, which is what I'm running now, it's one of my favorite levels, probably because it's one of the longer levels. You actually get to do things. You're going to see some new mechanics. Starting right here, shoutouts to fake floors and fake walls. Keep that in your back pocket for later. Got a visual cue coming up right here. Right there, we're going to hold right, bounce off this enemy, skip along Spike Pit, skip invincibility, which skips a lot of lag. And now we're waiting on a bubble. You might have seen these in Sonic Mania, although I believe they came from other games as well. You can control this bubble with up, down, left, right. Hi to whoever was waving back there at whatever you were waving at.
We were,
Yeah, so I was holding up to speed that up. If you touch a wall or a ceiling, the bubble bursts. I'm liking this. So right there, you gotta actually slow down the down. Otherwise, you cannot make it up this shaft. Welcome to the lag highway. This is the worst part of this level right here. You can, people back here can see me spamming jump buttons and not getting a jump. I gotta wait on the bubble here. Gonna clip into that spring, and this is for you guys to show off the only instance of speed shoes in this game, and it is totally worthless. There is no point in those. If you're doing best ending, you're going through here. It's not gonna help you speed up. Fun fact, that is replaced with a 10 ring box in the Game Gear version. Meaning Game Gear does not have speed shoes, despite the fact it's advertised on the box. They just didn't include it, and I don't know why. So I'm going backwards. You might be wondering why. Well, remember that whole fake wall thing? Right here? We're at the end of the stage, and that skips a very stupid and annoying part of the stage. If you go down to the right there, it's just, you have to take a bubble all the way up with arrows shooting at you, tons of enemies that just want to destroy you. It is the worst. Your run is dead. Aqua Lake 3, not much to say about this. The boss isn't too bad. It's more annoying in the Game Gear version. He has an extra attack he can do. You just don't want to give him a big old hug. We are going to try and do this a bit quickly here by doing that. If I didn't do that, he would actually just sit there for a while and wait for me to, well, either wait for 5 seconds or whatever it is, or wait for me to bounce on his head, and you wouldn't be able to do anything. Last hit here, hit number 6. Remember that? This game loves consistencies.
That boss like bounce Sonic on its nose if you jump at the wrong time.
Hi, y'all. We're just gonna chill here for a bit. Except we're not, because if you do that, it just doesn't advance you. That's a fun little thing you can do. So if we were doing any percent, we would now be halfway through the game. As it stands, we're almost there. And if you were missing green hills, well, here you go. It's mandatory in any Sonic game. You gotta have something like this. If you made it this far, also congratulations, have some extra lives. You will need them coming up, more than likely. Apparently that is a jump button on my controller. Did not want to hit that. We want to roll down here to land on top of here. There's a couple of extra lives. Sets us up perfectly right over here. Oop. And gonna jump across that gap. You can bounce off of that, but is, I think, probably a 1-frame window to get that. And the alternative is you just fall and don't make it across there at all. So I'm fine landing right next to that box. The start of this next stage is just really dumb. For some reason I've been struggling with it, but we're just gonna nail it here. Let's see. We want to jump off this corner up here at the top, just like that. And for some reason I didn't actually keep my speed like I wanted, but you know what? I still made it across, so I'll take that as a nice backup. But I will take that spring. Thank you, game. Alright, so the emerald's coming up. This is another one's just sitting right there. It's pretty easy to get casually. It's also really easy to miss, but if you miss it, you can just go back and pick it up. It's right there. Something you might notice as well, when I walk into the emeralds or run into them, Sonic's momentum stops, whereas if you roll into them, you'll actually keep going. You'll notice that in the next level, or the next act too. I'll purposely make sure to stop me because I have to turn around. This level sucks. This is dumb. And it's even worse on Game Gear because you can't see anything. Bye, Sonic, I need you anyway. See those spikes? Yeah, that's 90% of this level. The rest is springs, and it's fun. Pretty much, if you're not seeing it, it's a spike right now. That's unfortunate. Wanted to land on that. So I lose a bit of momentum here. That's fine. You're about to see every spring in the next part of the stage right here. Everything else is a spike. And now the first instance of RNG in this run. This is a very dumb boss. Depending on the pattern he gives me, I can get either 1 or 2 hits per cycle. We want to get 2. If he does give me 1, I can do certain things to speed it up, but they are risky. And of course I'd go for it, but no need. Perfect RNG. That's what we wanted. Alright, glad to get through that level. So next up, Gimmick Mountain, and everyone's favorite, the pinwheels. Alright, I think they're called flywheels, officially. They're annoying. Alright, so gotta take this spring up, which is... I wanted to go higher than that. Only in certain revisions of the game, actually. It's possible to not have that spring. However, if your version of the game does not have that, it is actually possible to soft lock. And you'd have to wait for a time over. I don't think it could ever happen in a speed run. Nice jump. I promise this game doesn't have any dropped inputs at all. Fortunately, you'll learn where it's likely to happen because of lag. Using this invincibility to skip half the level. You could do this without the invincibility, but it's a very tight window. You're meant to take a minecart across those spikes to get here. Shoutouts to the signpost being at the bottom left of a stage. It feels really odd.
It is Gimmick Mountain.
Yeah, it's something, all right. So, if you remember back in Aqua Lake with the false walls, and I told you to remember that, it's very important in this level if you're doing best ending. Shout out to Sonic grabbing the ring there. Because right here is where the path to the Chaos Emerald is. And, yeah, a lot of people, I think, never knew that. And right here, I wanted to run into that because I have to turn around and now go all the way back. That is the 5th emerald. That is the last one we'll be collecting in the middle of a level. The last one's a little bit different. I was not prepared to actually get that. That was nice. What? Obligatory this has never happened before. Unfortunately ran into that. No big deal. I'll have to look at that later. I have never seen that. Makes you wonder, can you do anything with that? That was Gimmick 2, and next up is everybody's favorite. It's an auto-scroller.
Oh, finally.
Woo! Yeah, I knew you'd be happy with
I've
that.
been waiting for this all day.
The worst part is when you fail the boss and have to do the whole thing again. So, we get to move through it at first. Yeah, I wanted a bit of a better jump. You might have seen there, if you don't do a roll jump and you do a normal jump, you do not get as much of a distance as you normally do. This platform is our companion platform. because it's not a cube. It can't be our companion cube. We need to make sure it doesn't despawn off screen, and it also tries to kill you up there, by the way. If it is too far off screen, it will despawn and you have to die. Because there's just, you have the spike pit. It's the only way to the boss. Speaking of the boss, I hate this boss. I'm going to do it in such a way where I don't die and have to redo that level. There are a couple different ways you can do this boss. This boss is actually probably the only one I prefer on Game Gear. Actually, there's a couple that aren't too bad. Just because of the screen crunch, he has less distance to travel. So if you kill him with this strat, it's just faster. Amazingly enough, something faster on Game Gear. Can't believe it. You do want to be careful of those falling rocks. They have killed me so many times. Alright. Notice, by the way, the past 2 bosses took 8 hits to kill because, you know, consistency. That's important. Nope. I didn't actually want to get up there that time. I already showed you off. Sonic, just do your thing, get off screen. So next up, if you haven't enjoyed the music so far, you should enjoy this next one. We were talking about this a bit beforehand, Scrambled Egg. The last 2 zones just have really good music to me. And you're going to see an interesting mechanic. You can see it right there. You'll get a better look at it shortly. So if you roll into these pipes, your speed just is a little bit different going uphill. Going uphill, you're not slowed down. You're actually increasing your speed. You're going to see it right here. And we're going to go into this pipe. So this level is a bit of a maze. There's 2 pipes like this that have multiple exits. You need to know which way to go. Don't want to fall down there. I got to do a little skip coming up. And thank God this is consistent on Master System, because I cannot figure out why it doesn't work on Game Gear all the time. So we went left coming out of the pipe, and that brings this platform back to the left earlier, rather than taking all the way to the right, waiting, and then doing this. So that saves a good chunk of time. And this last pipe, and then we're done with this level. We're not done with this music. 101, I'll take it. Would have been happier with a minute. This next level's the worst. You saw this yesterday, Scrambled Egg 2. So hopefully I actually get all the inputs I'm trying to get. And I'm going to take the beginning a little bit slow, because of all the lag you get from those exploding bombs. And going to turn around, jump up here, and just jump across part of the stage. And take this platform, which is our new companion platform, because you need to save it here. This is the platform I'm going to land on the other end of this pipe. You need to go around that loop, or else it's not going to be over here. Right here is the worst. Okay, got my inputs. It's so common, we'll drop your inputs there, and you're just going to fall into the next spike pit and die. You don't have time to get out. So if we were doing any percent, this next boss would be the final stage of the game, the final boss. And this boss actually is pretty easy, surprisingly, even casually. You can do it without dying, no problem. Well, okay. A lot of people will probably be able to do it without dying, no problem. First, we're going to go very high in the sky here and take all these springs up. And skip a spring by getting onto that platform. If you've watched Sonic Mania speedruns, ignore what I'm saying here, but if you've played Sonic Mania casually, you might recognize the boss coming up as he makes an appearance in Stardust Speedway. All the speedrunners want to skip him for some dumb reason. It's Silver Sonic. Thank you to the Mania developers for including something. Yeah, you can see right there, I didn't mean to hit him, but if you're in ball form like that, you can just bounce off each other. So the risk of dying, unless you're just doing crazy things, is minimal. And this guy is giving me a horrible pattern, by the way. I didn't mention it, but this boss is also RNG. And right here, pay attention, he just gave me the 6th Chaos Emerald. You will only get that if you've collected all the other 5. That was horrible RNG, though. Nothing you can do about that. So only 2 points of RNG in the run was Green Hills 3 and Silver Sonic there. Now on the Crystal Egg, whose music has grown on me. Let's not die. Okay, that works. I'll have to play with that later. And yeah, I just jumped off a spike. That was not intentional, but it's something you can do sometimes. Fun fact, there's a long spike pit at the bottom of this, and I've seen so many people playing through this their first time struggle with it and die in it. If you're ever in that spike pit, It's just hold right and recollect your ring. Don't stop holding right and you'll make it, no problem. It's not even that big of a time lost in the speed run. That is probably the easiest stage in the game right there. And this is supposed to be the harder levels? Chris... Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about that after Act 3. Act 2 is another long one, and it's somewhat of a maze. It's one of my favorite levels, honestly. We have to climb up this level. Spring, please. Okay. Sure, we'll do this. I want to roll jump into that spring, just to skip this little hill up here. I get a little bit more distance. And now we get moving flywheels. If I could jump, please. It's definitely not me not doing the right inputs. No way. We'll blame the controller. That's the right thing to do, right? Yeah, we're kind of behind the wall. This is intentional. It really is. And soon we will be upon the final boss, which is the worst part of this run. If you've ever seen it, you know why. Right here, you don't want to fall in that spike pit I just jumped over. In the Game Gear version, you can jump out. In the Master System version, you're dead. Something I just skipped, you didn't get a chance to see it, is the only... I skipped the signpost. But there is a box below where I was flying over that contains the only continue in the game outside of the Chaos Emeralds. And that was the final boss, and if I do this right, he will never attack. If I do this wrong, I might take an intentional death. This is actually very difficult to do. 3, 4... You've got to be kidding. No! Oh! That is the closest I've ever gotten to getting that first try in a marathon. So close. Yeah, if he attacks, it's just dumb, and this is bad. I'm going to die again, because what the... I probably could have done a backup strat on that. Oh, I've got plenty. Yeah, I'm good on that. This boss is dumb. This is the thing I was most afraid about in this whole run. I think... Please, jumps. Jumps are hard. Yeah, I'm not joking when I say this is the worst part of the run. Of course, it's the final boss. So, hey, let's rip the run at the very end, right? I'm trying to hit him as fast as... Please. Trying to hit him as fast as possible so he doesn't attack. When he attacks, it just adds so much time to the run that, honestly, taking deaths is still faster to try it again. Alright. If I have to do a backup, I'll do the backup. This is also why, if you look at the controller, I'm trying to hit the 2 jump buttons separately, like a couple frames apart. There we go. He's dead, and time. Yeah, during the run, you try and hit the buttons a couple frames apart, just that way, if you don't get your first jump, maybe you'll get your second. Okay, so I crushed the estimate. Good. You're welcome, whoever's behind me. Yeah, by the way, the in-game timer's still going. Why? I have no idea. It'll end at about 44 or 45. Yeah, we did all this to save Tails. This is the best ending. And
even Sonic doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Why'd I do this?
Who knows?
I made this series worse.
If you've ever speedrun Sonic 2 or 3 and Knuckles on the Genesis, you understand why. It's like Tails just tries to wreck you. Here's your best ending. You've saved Tails. If this was Game Gear, you would actually get good music. Here, you just get the same music, but...
He's running away from
we did it. That is your best ending, everyone.
He's pulling away.
Sonic's got to go fast.
I just wanted to rescue you. I didn't say anything about being friends.
Yeah. Alright, so that's all I've got. But don't go away, because we've got more Master System love coming up. 3 more games left, I believe, in the Sega block. Which game did we determine was up next?
Next is Lucky Dime Caper.
Lucky Dime Caper. Alright,
Start
so...
the duck block.
There we go. So don't go away. Thank you very much.